Hello and welcome to T4 Design. In this new tutorial, we will learn about how to use common material attribute in Autodesk Maya. So I will detail in depth how to use this and how to assign multiple parameters which are used in common material attributes. Let's start with our geometry, and I am taking this polygon sphere as my geometry. Okay. After then I am going to globally scale it. Okay. Now again I am doing this periphery which is at right side. This one starts with my channel box, modeling toolkit and attribute editor. So here this is basically used for the changing of colors and materials. So I am going to click attribute editor. So I am going to click attribute editor. Now you are showing that there is no such selection of material. So first I am going to select this body. After doing this, there are multiple options. That first is the piece sphere 1, now sphere shape 1, polysphere, initial shading. Then last one is my Lambert one. Lambert basically is a material which is by default setting of Maya, that each material is basically Lambert material when it designed, but there are next option which is blend material. So we can assign two different materials in Autodesk Maya. So let's start with my common material attribute. I am going with the default setting which is my Lambert material. Okay, so there in common material attribute there are multiple things. There is color. So first I am going to select the color. So you have to click this on this gray bar. Okay, after selecting this you can check that there is multiple options available. So you can select it. Let's say I am selecting blue. So you can also change the HSV. So how to change it? Let's say I'm going to change H here and then S and then V. HSV is basically controlled color which is shown here. This basically square shape shows my HSV. Let's say I'm changing this point. So you can see that there is a change in S and V, which is my multiple color grades in my square box. Okay, so this is how I can change my HSV shading colors in my color history. Now I am going with, let's say, yellow color. After going yellow, so again you can change the yellow shades. Yeah, you can change the S and V of the yellow, and you also change the grid point from here, and I am also changing it. So this is the way you can assign. Now you can see that this is my color. Okay, so I have selected this color. Okay, after doing color, there is next option is the transparency. So whether you need transparency in the material, so at that time this is zero transparency. If you can increase it, let's say it's 100% transparent. So I will show that there is no material because you have selected 100% transparency. Okay, let's say I am okay. So this is the material. This is the transparency of this one. So usually the transparency is taking the minimum value, let's say 7% to 10%. Okay, so this is the transparency, how transparent you want your object. Now the next option is my ambient color. So what is basically an ambient color and how you can perform ambient color task in Autodesk Maya. So ambient color is the color of light near or surrounding, which is this one, surrounding the shape. So in case, let us say the colored light is in the form of the LED picture near the light sensor. Let's say for this case there's a camera and there is a LED light, so the impact of light will be here on the end. So let's say let's see what is the change of the ambient color. Again I am selecting this. After selecting this, you have to choose. Let's say I am choosing this color. So this is my ambient color which will be shown near the surrounding. Okay, so let me show how I can. Okay, so at this point it is ambient. Again I am selecting the ambient color. So you can see that at boundary let's check with another. Let's say I'm taking red. So you can see now that the edge is now red, 100% red. Now I am taking it 30%. Okay, and if it is okay, now it is the original color. Now, but if I increases this, so the boundary color will be 100% red color, which I choose from the ambient color. So you can basically, the edge point or my surrounding of the body will be selected with respect to my ambient color. If you want to change your outer body color, so you can change with respect to ambient color. If you want a contrast, so you have to adjust the color and ambient color respectively. Now the next option is incandescence. Okay, so what is incandescence? So first, incandescence basically means then the glowing up. If you want to, let's say this shape is used as a lamp, let's say, so I will use it. I am choosing a color, this color. Okay, now the incandescence is 100%. If it is 0, so it will be the original color. I am increasing the incandescence, which is basically the glowing of light. So this is my incandescence. Incandescence again is the glowing of light, just like a bulb. So you can select it. Okay. Now next one is my bump mapping. So what is bump mapping, or how you can see that? So you have multiple things to do. So let's say in bump mapping, you can assign the material. You can assign different type of material and different type of casing and different type of object color. Okay. So bumping, basically the main purpose of bump model or a bumping is to assign different color. Let's say this is to assign a texture. Let's say I am giving this a cloth, so the texture will be cloth in this case. Okay. Now diffusion. So what is diffusion? Diffusion is basically the convergence of material. Let's say it's 0.55 and I am taking as this one. So you can see that my object is diffused with respect to my environment because there is no other shade. So you can select the diffusion from 0 to 100. Usually the value of diffusion lies between 0.1 to 0.3 in the real-time modeling. Next one is the transparency. Okay, so how we can deal it. So for understanding, if an object is transparent, it is almost transparent, allowing some light through it in an attractive way. Let's show it. Let's I am increasing this. Okay, so now this is the shape, or this is the transparency that the object will allow different light to pass through it. So it's basically nearly close to my transparent material. Now transparency depth and transparent focus. So depth will be, focus will be that if I increase it, so the deflection of light or the transfer of light is higher at transparent focus equals to 1. Usually the transparent focus will be between 0.3 to 0.4. Now the transparent depth. So transparent depth mean that if you are taking this value to this one, so my shading, you can see that there is an impact of transparent depth on my surrounding. If the value is 0, so there is no such light parameter involved in my background. If this value increases to 1, so you can see that my background is now shiny when my transparency depth is 1. So this is the main parameters which are basically used. If I am using special effects, so in the special effects there is a glow intensity. So let's say I am changing the glow intensity. If I am changing the glow intensity, so this value again increases from 0 to 1, and usually the value of glow intensity is between 0.2 to 0.4. So I'm taking it 0.2 in my case. So this is again there are multiple options, but these two, special edition and common material attribute, are basic parameters which are used in my color selection and material selection. By default, the material is Lambert, which is my dull material, and how to assign different colors, transparency, ambient color, and how to make a transparent material, how to make contrast with respect to my original shape and the boundary. So this is the way I assign different things to my shape, and it depends how you can show your colors with respect to your given requirement. So you have color, you have the option of color, transparency, ambient color, incandescence, also the mapping, which is basically used for a texturing. So you can add any texture, like you can add claw texture in this case. So this is basically generally used when you use the modeling for rendering. So in this case we are not using this model as render. This is a simple model. I am adding simple colors in it, and then diffusion, translucence, and how to change translucent depth and translucent focus. This is all about today's tutorial. Hope you enjoy this. Hope you understand common attributes material which is used for the color selection, contrast of the color, and change multiple things. Let's say change the inner shell, change outer shell, change the environment, and also change the transparency. So this is the way you can change multiple colors for your geometry. Hopefully you enjoy the lecture. We'll meet you in the next lecture.